Hello guys, and welcome back to another Tweaker Man video. So in this video I'm going to be doing some internal wiring. Well, I've already done some internal wiring on the analog side, so I've tried several different types of wires in there, and this particular wire I think sounds the best. So I've done a video on it, so I want to show you this. At the moment, the cable, this is only a trial because the cable's a bit long and I need to make another one exactly the right size, and I need to slim it down slightly because it's rather thick, and it's got too much cable in there at the moment. So remember that when you watch this video, that the cable's too long at the moment. I need to trim it down. But well, I'm going to make two new ones, but this was just a sample. But one thing I will say is this sounds wicked. It really has pushed this quad 405 on. And originally it had some Van Dam cable in there that the guy had put in it, the guy that restored this 405. Now, he's done a lovely job of this 405. The inside's really, really nice. The only thing which I mentioned in the video is I might attempt to change the power capacitors in there, because I found some really nice ones that apparently are stunning. So, but they're not cheap. They're around about £99 each. But for now, I'm just doing a bit of wiring upgrade. So first of all, I thought I'd work on the analog side, so I won't go on any more. Here's the video coming up now. Hello guys, and welcome back to another Tweaker Man video. I haven't uploaded for a couple of weeks because my father passed away, so I've been busy, but I'm back. So what I'm doing today is I'm showing you how to change the some of the internal wiring on the quad 405, which I have here. The bits I'm changing today are the signal cables that go to the RCA plugs that then clip into the boards either side. So these boards either side, yeah, they've got little push clips on there. So I'll be using the same. Now, it is probably best to solder these in, but if you want to access the boards and get to them and service them at any time, you've got to mess around unsoldering them all the time. So I'm going to opt for the clips. So I've already made one of the interconnects up here. This is it there. This is 0.6 silver cladded copper, and it's insulated with a wool felt and then twisted together PTFE tape, and then silver cladded silver plated braid. So let's get on to this. I'll show you how to make the interconnects first. So this is the wire we're using here, 0.6 silver cladded copper. Right, so I've already insulated one of the wires here, which I'm going to show you how to do. So first of all, what we want to do is we want to just cut another piece of wire first, the same length as this one. Got to be careful there not to push that through there too much. In fact, I'll use this other bit, which is the same length, which I nicked it a little bit on the edge when I was machining it, so I've had to abandon this piece. But so we get it to there. Just chop it like that. So this is the new bit, that's the old bit. Now what I've decided to do with this now is to polish it with some silver polish. Just polish the conductor a little bit. So just put a bit of silver polish on there like that. And then we're just going to run the wire through it a few times. Now you can see there's black coming off there, you see. You can see the black on the cloth. So just going to give it a bit of a polish just to improve the surface. Then we'll spray it with some deoxit as well on top of that. So what I'm trying to do is produce the best conductor possible to go into there. I mean, some people would say pure silver, yeah, but I'm doing it out of this cladded copper, silver cladded copper, because it works really well. Right, okay, so once we've done that, we need to pop over to a clean bit of cloth. Make sure we get all the polish off of it there. And you could wear a pair of gloves if you're frightened about putting anything fingerprints on as a conductors, but as I'm putting the oxide on there, it doesn't really matter too much to me. So now we've done that there. Now we're going to get our deoxit, spray quite a lot onto a bit of kitchen towel, kitchen roll, then just run the conductor through a few times. Right, okay, there's our conductor ready for insulating, so let's start to insulate it. So this is our wool felt insulation here. So we just want to cut this exactly the same length as the other one that I've done. There we go. So we'll put that to one side. Now we're going to head over to the sewing machine now. So here we have our felt and our wire. So we're going to insulate it using the sewing machine. Now this is quite a good way of doing it, but we've got to make sure that when we get the conductor in, it goes right to the very side of the. We don't want to. So that's gone on top there. We've got to get it positioned exactly right, because we don't want the needle of the sewing machine to puncture the wire, because it's very thin, remember, and we've got to keep it over to the side there. So I have to keep on doing this. I have to just be very careful and do it slowly. So I put my finger onto there, on my nail along there, and then just take it along. There's no rush on these jobs, so you just got to take your time. And you could twist this this felt around the wire if you wanted to, but I find that it's if you can get access to a sewing machine, somebody you know might have one, you can get them to do this for you. Right, so we've done that now. So we're just going to chop that off of there. And now what we're going to do, make sure that the wire will just easily thread through like that. I mean, you could just machine it up first and then thread all the wire through afterwards, but it tends to get hooked up a lot. So what I'm going to do now is just to cut the salvage edge off of that along there, like so, very close. You can see that there, very easy. Very hard to do it on a camera. There we go. Right, so that's that now. So let's turn the camera around so we can get a better angle now. So what we're going to do now is to indicate each channel, right? So from the negative and the positive, what we're going to do is we're going to use just a black marker. So if I just mark each end of this conductor before we start twisting it together. Right, okay. So here's the other one I made earlier, because we need two of them. So I'm just going to get them about the same. Okay, so we're going to start twisting it from here. I want to twist the two together like that. No point doing this in a drill, this bit. Very delicate wire, we don't want to damage any of it. Once we get it up here, we can then there we go. So we want to get the twist about the same on that end, because I've allowed more on one end because I've got to go into the RCA plug with it. Right, so that's that. So all we're going to do now is just tighten that twist up a bit. We want it fairly tight. And remember, you've got this felt, wall felt in between the conductors. And what this effectively does as well is it helps to stop any electrostatic build-up in the cable as well, a bit like cotton does. There we go, we're going along there a bit. So we've got it up to there now, which is exactly where we want it. So now what we're going to be doing now is covering this in 3 layers of PTFE tape to keep the twist in place. You guys that are familiar with this channel already know how to do all this. You've been following me for a long time now, so anybody that's new, this is how we do it. Put it in between your fingers there. Twist it along there. Right, so I've run out of there. So I need to go and get another roll. So I've got another roll now. We'll just carry that one up there. Then we're going to add another. Start the other roll now. Doesn't matter if you run out halfway through because you're going to be going back over the top of it anyway. There we go. Now you can make your interconnects with this felt as well. Very good way of doing it. Just come back on ourselves again and get quite quick at this between your hands, just threading it through. Right, I shall carry on giving this 3 coats and 3 layers, and then I'll be back in a second. Right, so we've got we've done the 3 layers on here. So now what we want to do is just going to cut these conductors down a bit because they're a bit long. So we'll offer it up to the other cable. We want to make it identical. Okay, so we're just using a cheap pair of scissors just to chop this off here. Like so. Then about the same at the other end. About there. Right, so next what we need to do now is we need to thread all this through our tinned copper braid here that we have. So in order to do that, we need to put some PTFE tape over the conductors to thread them through, because we don't really want to damage them. Not now we've polished them and treated them with deoxit as well. Put some. We'll pull this off afterwards as we go through. Right, let's chop that. Now some will say, why are you messing about changing Van Dam cable for this? Well, this is quite superior to the Van Dam cable. That Van Dam cable's fine, but this is quite a bit better. I need a bit more on the end there because that's still sticking out a little bit there. It's catching on the inside of the braid. There we go, that's better. Right, so we're just going to thread all that through there. This is quite big, this braid, but it goes quite small when you pull it tight. So we're going to take it up to there, a bit more, bring it back very slightly. There we go. Then pull that back with your hand tight. And now we want to give this 2 layers of PTFE tape, but what we'll do, we'll get down to the end and we need to narrow the braid there. There we go. Put that round there and start twisting it up and down there. Cable again. What I like about building your own cables like this is it gives you a real sense of achievement at the end of it. You've achieved something really good. And at the end of the day, cabling is just the quality of the conductor and all to do with the way you make the cable up, the geometry of the cable, I should say. And these companies that are charging stupid money, which I mention all the time in my videos, you know, it's unbelievable. I know that you know, a lot of design has gone into them, but cabling is quite easy in a way. The design, it doesn't have to be that difficult. Sometimes some of the basic designs sound the best in my eyes. That's why I never try to overcomplicate stuff too much. Right, so we'll just come back on ourselves a bit and cut that off. And now we need to cut this braid down a bit. There we go. Just take that round there for a minute like that. And we just need to start pulling that back. Okay, so we're up to there. So now, what we're going to do is we'll probably be best to remove this now. That's it. That's all off of there now. Open that up. So we are going to start cutting some of this braid back around here. What we're after doing is just keeping a very small amount of this out like so, because it's got to connect to the earth. There we go. Chop some of that off there. That should be about right. Make sure you've got no strand wires hanging over anything. Don't want anything arcing out inside. So we're just going to twist this round like that. Okay. Cut a few bit more of those strands away there. Neaten it up a bit. That's better. Right, so what we want to do now is we want to start wrapping it, this part here, in PTFE, straight up to there. And then this is going to wrap round here, because this is going to be our earth side, and negative, or wrap that round to there. Then we're going to come round there. With the PTFE, and then come back on ourselves a bit. Chop that off there. Let's move some of that junk over there, get in the way. Right. So that's perfect. So now all we've got to do now is to come back on ourselves now with the PTFE tape. Just give it one more coat, and now we're all ready to go out and do some heat shrink over the top. So I've got the rest of it in the studio out there set up, ready to go. We need to make sure that's all neat. Take that round like that. Right, okay, so now this becomes quite a stiff cable, but I always find stiff cables to be better than ones that are really floppy. There we go. So that's it. Now let's head out into the studio and put our heat shrink on. So that's all ready to go. That's all ready to go. That's all smart. Just chop a couple of rogue bits of cotton off of there. Right, that's it. So we're out in the studio now. I see the camera's flickering a little bit in this light, so see if I can get a better picture than that. That's better. Right. So the black is going to be classed as the earth side of it. So we need to cut some bits of heat shrink here. Some small bits to go on there. One black and then one red. There we go, so the black's going to slide over there. What we don't want is the heat shrink touching the conductor at all, because it's made of PVC and we don't want it to interfere with the there we go, that's better. And the same with our red one there. Let's just see if that needs a bit off. Nope, that's probably just about right actually. Take a tad off of that. There we go. Right, that's that end. Same with this end again now. We need to put a red up there. Red's about there. It's always probably best to cut these heat shrinks oversized so you can cut them back than cut them too small. So we'll pop the square that up a little bit. Put the black over there. So that's a bit big again. Going to chop that back a bit. Out there. Do the same with the other one because we know they're both the same length. Yeah, put the red over there. That's better. Need a little bit of the felt pushing out the top really. Put it out slightly like that, that's it. Right, okay, so do the same again. Let's just give this end another blast. Right, that's that. So now we need a bigger piece of heat shrink. I mean, there's no point putting nylon braid inside the amplifier. No one's seeing it. It's probably best just to cover it in heat shrink. Now I'm hoping this heat shrink now is big enough because I've run out of the other size. See whether that will go over that. Probably not actually. Push that down there a minute. That doesn't look big enough, that bit. Right, I've got to pop in the other room to get some more of the other stuff. So we're out in the studio now. I see the camera's flickering a little bit in this light, so see if I can get a better picture than that. That's better. Right. So the black is going to be classed as the earth side of it. So we need to cut some bits of heat shrink here. Some small bits to go on there. One black and then one red. There we go, so the black's going to slide over there. What we don't want is the heat shrink touching the conductor at all because it's made of PVC and we don't want it to interfere with the there we go, that's better. And the same with our red one there. Let's just see if that needs a bit off. Nope, that's probably just about right actually. Take a tad off of that. There we go. Right, that's that end. Same with this end again now. I need to put a red up there. Red's about there. It's always probably best to cut these heat shrinks oversized so you can cut them back than cut them too small. So we'll pop the, square that up a little bit. Put the black over there. So that's a bit big again. Going to chop that back a bit. About there. Do the same with the other one because we know they're both the same length. Yeah, put the red over there. That's better. Need a little bit of the felt pushing out the top really. Pull it out slightly like that, that's it. Right, okay, so do the same again. Let's just give this end another blast. Right, that's that. So now we need a bigger piece of heat shrink. I mean, there's no point putting nylon braid inside the amplifier. No one's seeing it. It's probably best just to cover it in heat shrink. Now I'm hoping this heat shrink now is big enough because I've run out of the other size. See whether that will go over that. Probably not actually. Push that down there a minute. That doesn't look big enough, that bit. Right, I've got to pop in the other room to get some more of the other stuff. So here we have some thicker heat shrink. So I'm just going to offer that up to about there. Chop this down. This is going to be better. Spread all that over there. Take it up a little bit over there. There we go. That's pretty perfect. Right, so we've just got to shrink this down now. There we go. So that's the other one done now. So what we're going to do now is we're going to fit the clips on the ends of them. So I'll get them now. Right, so we've got our clips here. Our little clips there. Difficult to see them. Little spade connectors. So we're going to be connecting them to the end of the cable that doesn't have the braid connected to it. And then the braid is going to connect. The end that's got the braid connected to one of the conductors is being terminated at the RCA end. So here we have these little prongs there, which are going to go over to there like that. And then what we want to do is we want to solder that up now. So put something heavy on here to keep that down like that, because it's awkward otherwise. So now I'm just going to get this soldering iron here. There we go, that's one. Let's move slightly, not actually done. Let's see what's happened there. None of that's soldered off on it, it's just hot still. So the next one, let's check this out. Next one I'm going to push over. There we go. Turn that one over back there, bend that back slightly. Push that up. Now this one I might take off and have another go at that one because I'm not really happy with the way that one went. Right, there's the other ones of those I had. There, I'll use a fresh one. That one looks like it needs to be trimmed back very slightly there. Wrong end. That's it. Oh, that needs to be pushed up into there a bit like that. With that. Okay, that's all nicely. So that's one done. This is the next one going on now. Moved again, you bugger. That's it, that's really hot, so don't touch that like that. Right, I'm going to go and get another one of those because that one's not very good. Right, okay, so we've got another one here now. Push that onto there. Now these ones are really crimping sort of spade connectors, but I like to solder them because I think it gives you a better connection when you solder stuff. There we go, leave that to dry for a second. Right, they're all on nicely now. So all we're going to do now is we're going to stick a piece of heat shrink over them again now, because we want to make sure that it goes over the soldered parts. So we'll just cut a few little bits of black and red heat shrink again. That's that. So I'm going to pop that over there. They could do with being a bit longer than that actually. Cut those a bit small in the end. Take them a bit bigger, about there. Same again. Doesn't matter. It's internal wiring, you won't see it anyway. I always like to make the cables look really professional, but in the inside side it's not so. Right, so let's do one at a time here so it don't. So that's pushed on a bit. That's it. That's one there. And the next one. Push it on there. Push that up a little bit. There we go, that's one done. So next one. Push that over a little bit. There we go, perfect. So two nice internal interconnects made up. So what I've got to do now is get the quad in here, and then just solder it up. So we'll do that now. I've got to go and get that now. Right, so we've got the quad in here now. So I've just got to take a screw out here quick. Which else we'll do? I sprayed this quad. All the sides, I took all the sides off, see, and there we've got to take two screws out from under here. Okay, so I shall do that now quick. Put it round that way so you can see it. So we've got one there because we need to get to the RCA plug without having to take off too much of the one done. Let's try an angle with this. I've got a longer screwdriver somewhere. There we go. So the beauty of this is what I like about these amplifiers. And at first I was a bit iffy about them, but they're so easy to repair, so easy to do work on. Everything comes apart, the whole lot, all this bass comes off, and it's so easy to do the work on them. So we've got our RCA plugs here. So this is to the, what is that one? That's the right channel there. So we need to unsolder these bits here. Turn the soldering iron off like a twit again. So got to leave that warm up. But what we're going to do, yeah, is just remove these, solder the bits on. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, and we're there. But before we do that, what we want to do is we want to treat the insides of these of the spade connectors with some of this K gold. That's it. Hold on to it tight there. Get some of that inside there. Helps to enhance the contact and also cleans the contact there as well at the same time. There we go, that's that one. Do the same at this end. Now I'm sure I'll have some quad purists comment on this video, and so I'm on a Facebook page with quad purists, and I post little articles on there saying about upgrading this, upgrading that, and they all say, well, why do you want to do that? It defeats the object, you're taking the quad sound away. But to me, I'm not. What I'm doing is I'm enhancing the quad sound, or to be fair, I just want to improve the sound quality of everything that I do. So and then obviously you'll have the snake oil police out in in Drodes again, but hey, who cares? Right, so let's just see whether this is hot. It's not quite hot yet there. Yeah, so these are great little amplifiers. So I'm looking at I'm not sure what to do yet really. I might upgrade these capacitors here. Now these are not bad capacitors actually. But I found some audio note capacitors. They're quite expensive, but I think they're quite superior to these. So we'll see if anybody's had any experience with these audio note capacitors. Let me know, because they're quite expensive. They work out to around about £99 each. But I've been assured that they are a hell of a lot better than these. But you know what companies are like when they want to sell you something. They'll tell you all sorts of rubbish. But the guy that did the work on this originally, he's done quite a nice job of upgrading a lot of these capacitors and bits and pieces in there. It does sound very nice, this amp. The problem I have is my speakers are really high sensitivity, 97 dB. And what happens is when this amp's on, but there's no music playing through it, you get like a hiss through the speakers slightly. Now I've tried another set of speakers on it, it doesn't do that, so it's my speakers that cause that problem, which is fine. But what I might try to do is connect a couple of attenuators to the back here of the speaker terminals, so it lowers that as it comes through. But we'll experiment a bit. It may make it sound worse. In other ways I'll leave it. But what I want to do is also upgrade all this internal wiring here. I want to upgrade it to some silver plated Ono continuous cast copper wire, which I'm going to buy in, which is Teflon insulated, because all this is just PVC, you see. And this wire is the original wire from 1981. I mean, these little amplifiers are still superb for considering they were built back then. I mean, this design was made in the 70s originally, and then it was upgraded to the number 2 version of this. But right, let's see if we can take this off of here now. Now what I desperately need to do is to get myself a new soldering tip, because this one has just about had it. There we go. That's gonna pop back on again. That's going to come off of there. Right, okay. And that one's going to come off of there. That's it. Pull that up there. That's it. Get that out. Right, that's out. Same with this one. That's it. Right, I'm going to have to go and let the Milo, the jazz dog, in because he's moaning out there. So I'll do that now. So I've connected the wires at that end there into the little spade connectors. Now this end here, I've got to solder this down here onto there. So let's get our soldering iron and load it with some solder. I'm going to pop that into there like so. There we go, that's that one. And then the same with this one here. It's not done very well, that. Pull that off of there. Just to push that down a bit there and bring that round. See, what I'm going to do is solder up the end of that first a bit. I have to load that with solder first to solder it. I desperately need a new solder tip, which I've got to get hold of. I was meant to get one this week to do this video, but I've forgotten with what's been going on with my father and everything else. There we go. nicey. It's gone in there. So this cable's just going to tuck down the back. This is very thick, this cable now. So I've had to sort of bend it round and take it down like so. Right, so now we've got to do now is to do the same with the top one now. Now this is quite thick as well, so I'm going to have to poke it round and come back on myself with it a bit. So the black goes in the bottom there. So before we put those on, we want to then just put a bit of our oxide gold on there, on the connectors. Okay, so we're going to have to push that into there like that, the top. Okay, that's a bit tight for some reason. What's causing that? It's got a bit of solder in there. See if that bottom one will go in. That's gone in. Right, so something gone wrong with that one. So I'm going to have a look at that now. Right, so I've got the second cable connected there into there, and that goes down like that. It's a bit tight in here again. I have to make both lengths the same length, you see, so this one has to go back on itself a bit. So we'll get round to here, we can then solder that into there. Looks very large inside, I must admit. It'll be fine. I need to just get it onto there. Dry for a minute. That's it. But then we want to solder that one up first again, don't we? Checking you can see that. Right. Got a bit of soldering up. Load the soldering iron up. Poke it down into there. Right, that's nicely done. All done. So all I've got to do now is fit it back together and go and try it out. As I say, it looks quite large in there, but it should be all right like that. If I have any problems, I might have to shorten it, but it should be okay. So we'll leave it like that, and then I'll show you in a minute once we're back in.